today we're going to make a pair of jeans out for our dolls, and I've took an old pair of jeans which had a great big hole in the crotch. Okay, now that was my husband's, but you can buy these really cheaply from the charity shops. The bigger the size you get, the more fabric you're going to get, so take a choice on what you want. So I got a nice blue pair here, but they do them all different colours, so whatever. Don't go cutting up your best jeans. So I've got the pattern and I've cut it all out, and I'm just going to pin it onto my jeans. So I'm just going to pin it in place. Now I worked it out so that I could get those two pieces like that on it, going like that on the leg, and that's the way the pieces should go. Obviously it should go on that way round, but it doesn't really matter because, as you can see, the pattern is just going down this way, so you're still going to get your lines going in the right direction. If you had a pattern with, say, faces or something, you could only have it going one way. But to save a little bit of fabric, I thought I'd do it this way on here, so you can fit both pieces of the trouser pattern onto quite a small piece of fabric there. So I'm just going to pin it all into place, and then I will cut it out, and then I will come back and show you what I've got. That one like that, and that one like that. Then I'm going to take my other pieces of trousers, and on those two straight seams there, I'm going to place that one onto that one so that that one's face down, and then this one here on top of that one so that one's face down. Okay, and they should marry up perfectly. And you're going to then pin from here. Pin's bent. There we get one. Keep those two ends so they're touching exact. Yeah. And then the other one down here at the end as well. Okay, and do that on both legs. And then we're going to take them to the sewing machine, and we're just going to sew a straight line of stitches all the way down both legs. Okay, so you're going to start here, sew all the way down, put a little back stitch here, sew down a little back stitch there. So I've got on a 1/4 inch foot, and I'm using, I don't know if you can see the colour of this, let's see, I can lift that over to the camera. It's like a browny orangey colour, and it's the colour which they use when they're making jeans in the factory. I actually was able to buy some thread when a factory was going out of business, and they were selling just a big box of thread, so I picked it up. There was all different colours in it, so this was one of them. So I'm just going to go a straight stitch. I'm going to leave my needle in that down position because I do like to work with it down. Okay, and then I'm going to do a back stitch, and I'm keeping my foot just there on that very edge. Okay, take the pins out as you come to them. I'll tell you what I did buy, which was this little metal dish, and it's handy for when you want to take your pins off quick. It just flops onto there, so if you see one of those, that might be, it's got a magnet in it. We're going to do this, and then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side of the trousers. So I should just go up here. Right, and whilst my other leg is doing, I will put the iron on so that I can crease up, get the creases into there. So I shall do exactly the same on this leg, just the same as we've done on the other one. So if you've ever tried to press a pair of jeans, you will know that you need to have the iron quite hot. So if you are a child, you must always ask an adult. I would always say ask an adult to do this for you, because you need that iron on quite hot to get this to lay flat. Okay, don't try doing it on your own, because you could very easily burn yourself, because that is a bit fiddly. And I would say if you are a child, probably with any electrical equipment, you probably need to have some supervision, at least when you're getting started. I've ironed my seam open like that, just going to turn it over and iron it on the other side as well, just to make sure that that seam down the middle of the trouser leg, well, that'll be on the side of the trouser leg, just to make sure that's laying lovely and flat, because the next thing we've got to do, I don't know if you can see with the pattern, we're going to fold our trouser leg up 1/2 inch. Okay, so I've got my piece of cardboard with my 1/2 inch on it. I'm going to turn it over. Okay, it'll probably be better if I put it that way around. Hopefully you can see this. Okay, we'll turn it up to our 1/2 inch mark, like that, all the way along, and then we're going to go along and just press that with our iron. Just get that on there straight. That's it. A bit more. That's right. That's it. And then get that on there. Now it gets very hot, so please be careful when you're doing this bit. We don't want anyone to burn themselves. So there we go. So just give that a good press down on there. We've folded that piece back again. So now we've got it all sitting, so it sits along that line, and it's only, we've got no raw edges sewing. So we folded that back in again, and we're going to put it like that, so that you've got a nice straight line going along there, and then pin that in place. Okay, I'm going to turn it to the side a bit. Now you have to pin it this way, because I like to pin my pins, as you know, the other way, but they just won't go in through this denim. It's just too thick doing it, trying to get it in that way. Trying to get that as flat as you can and as straight as you can along there. Pin that in. Okay. That's it. And that one in the middle as well. Okay, the middle piece is going to be a little bit more difficult because you've got a lot more fabric in there, so you're just going to have to wiggle it with your fingers. There, so I've managed to get that reasonably straight. Okay, so you've got that like that. Now, keeping that just like that, put that to one side and do exactly the same. Open up your seam first, and then press that down there, and then come around and do that piece along there. I'm just trying a different light on here. The other one, the batteries just ran out. Let me know if you think that this helps or not, if it makes it worse, or if it makes too much of a shadow or something. That might help, I don't know. Is that good? If you could let me know in the comments if that does help. Right, I'm just getting it on. I just want to get my I'm just doing a stitch just along that seam, and I want it on the edge of that seam. I'm just doing a back stitch, and then I'm going to come along and go to the edge. A bit of a problem with the lighting recently. I had a lovely light and it was working really well, and then somehow it just doesn't seem to be working quite right. So please, if you could let in the comments, tell me whether that improved it or not. That would be great. I just pinned my trouser leg along the way around on this side. I'm just going to take my pins out and swap them around and pop them the other way around. You've got to have it so that the pins are going in towards the foot. As you can see here, if you have it the other way, you can't get your pin out. I don't know what made me think to do it that way around. Okay, so I'm just pinning it that way around. There we go, that's better. Right, and then I'm going to do the other leg exactly the same as I've just done that one. So what you want to do is take your two legs together, and you want to stitch from here, okay, all the way up to there, like that. Okay, find my pins. Sorry, I couldn't see what I've done on my pins for a second. Alright, So I'm just going to come in all the way along and just going to stitch that onto there. Pin up there, and another one in the centre. I always find trousers look really hard, and then when you do it you think, oh, that was pretty easy. And then what we're going to do here on this side is we want to make sure that we join these two pieces here perfectly together, but here with this piece we want to just come and stitch just up to there like that. All right, so I'm just going to pop a pin in there. All right, and I just want to come up and I just want to stitch onto that there like that. So stitch across to there and then stitch all the way down to there. Hoping this is helping with that light and it's not making it too glary for you. It's worth a try, I suppose. Back stitch and up again. I'm just wanting it to come where that's meeting, just there, up and touch onto that and then back stitch there. Okay, so do that side and that's that side done, and then we're going to do exactly the same. Starting to run out of thread, so I'm going to need to stop in a minute after I've done this piece and redo my spool. I usually like to put a new spool on. This is the second pair of jeans I've made today, so I'm just I didn't thread up the second time. Enough just to do the legs, I think. Okay, right, so here you have your trousers. Okay, so you're all sewn up that side, sewn up the other side. That's your front, that's your back, and this is your front of your trousers. Okay, but you should still be able to open your flies like that. All right, so what you're going to do now is to take your trousers, so they're like this, and you're going to take them and you're going to fold them so that that back piece is sitting at the back and the front piece is sitting at the front like that. And what you're going to do is you're going to pin both of your legs. You're going to pin into that crutch first. Actually, let's do that first, because you want to make sure that crutch, those two seams on the crutch opens up like that. Okay, and you want to put a pin in the center of that join there. Okay, so it's going into that side and into that side, and that one's not going to go in because that's the bendy one. So yeah, that's it. There, you got that one in, and poke it in there as well. What you want to do is make sure that you've got it laying open, all right, and then take these two ends, making sure that they're sat really beautifully together like that, and you can put your pin, and you're probably gonna might get away with it. No, I've bent it. There you go, put your pin in like that, there, and then put a couple of pins just on your legs. 1 and 2. Alright, and then do exactly the same with your other leg. Alright, so get that really beautifully married up there. I'm going to do it that way around, I think, just to make sure it goes that way, the right way around. And make sure these seams are sitting together, because you want to make sure you've got a 1/4 inch on the back and a 1/4 inch seam on the front. You don't want to find that you've gone along and you haven't quite got it in there. Put an extra one in there. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take it to the machine. Okay. And all I'm going to do now is take that piece there and place it under my foot, making sure the edge of my fabric here is on the edge of that foot there. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just push it in a little bit further than it needs to be in. I'm going to run it forward a tiny bit. That's it. And then I'm going to and then I'm going to do a back stitch. So it goes all the way back and then all the way forward again. Now just take your time, because you will have to turn this as you get to that crotch bit. So keeping that on that 1/4 of an inch, right? Can you see I've making sure that that is open there, and it's also opened on the back. So I want to get that laying as flat as I possibly can. I don't really want any great big bits of bulk anywhere. Okay, now I'm going to just turn it. I've got my needle in the down position, so it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to move off, but it'll just allow you to turn it slightly like that, okay? Keeping it on that line. I'm just going to come around that corner there. And down. Now when you get to here, I don't know if your machine will have it, but I've got a bit of lip, and as I went over onto it, that piece underneath, this piece here, caught on my lip. So just be aware of that. It might sort of stop for a second and you'll think, oh, what's going on? And that could be that, so just be aware of that, keeping that in place. Just going to run around, that's it. And I want to do a couple of back stitches on there. Okay, and I want to bring my thread so that it's there, not right on the very end. Okay, and I'm just going to clip that. 1 and 2, okay, and I'll clip this other end. Now if you want to, you're not going to see this, it's going to be inside the trousers, you can do a row of zigzags all the way around there, and you could put row of zigzags down these 2 seams on here. I'm not going to bother because you're not going to see it at all, it's going to be right inside, but to make it a little bit more professional you could do that. Okay, right, so here we are with this. Then I'm going to take it to the iron. I'm going to fold, open it up like that, press it open, and then I'm going to fold that side in like that. Okay, all the way along, and I'm going to fold that side in like that, all the way along. Alright, so you've got a nice even fold all the way, and then I will come back. I'm ever so sorry, I was doing the jeans, and as I was going along the camera was just pushing itself off, and I didn't realise. So what I'm going to do is just do the top again, and so you might see some of them in this pale blue fabric, and you might see some in the darker blue fabric, and that will be the reason why. I'll try my best to catch up as where we were. So what I then did was I went along and I took the pair of jeans and I cut the waistband off, which is what I'm doing here. You need to get a reasonable size piece because you want it to go around most of the waist of the jeans. So I'm just going to cut the whole thing off up to the button over here. I don't need that much actually, probably get away with up to about here, about in the middle here. Right, let's have a look at that. Let's see if I can get enough of it with that. I'm just going to chop that off a minute there and chop that off. Right, so as long as you can get it to come from here and then go all the way around like that and then around to the other side, so I'm going to give myself plenty of room to work with. I'm going to take my scissors here and I'm going to run them along where this line is here of stitching. Get a nice stitch cut. Just takes a while to get through it. You might want to just do one side and then the other side. Once you've got it started, you can just run along like that. turn over and do the other side as well, just the same. So these ones are slightly different from the other ones. They're a little bit more slightly that worn look to them, which is quite nice as well. Try and avoid getting that seam in it. There you go, make it easier to cut. There you go. Right, and then we'll just take off everything which is inside it, any bits and pieces which might be in that waistband which can come out. So this is just a lining fabric, that can all come out. There. And then we'll just strip all that down, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my quick unpick and I'm going to remove this these two tabs on here on this piece, and just get those off, just unpick those and they will come away like that. I don't know if you can see that here. You just get your quick unpick and just remove those two little tabs on there. Okay, like that. It's coming. There we go. Just takes a bit of fiddling with. There, right. And you can neaten all that up and do exactly the same on the other tab. Alright. There. Okay, and then I'll come back. Now just remember to be really careful with your iron. I'm just going to iron across there and get that laying nice and flat and opened. Okay. Piece. Then do the other side. Okay. That nice and flat, that's opened up, and then what I want to do is just go over and give this side a press as well. That's my quick unpick, just to get it laying down flat. Yeah, it's the same side. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come along and we're going to turn this over on both sides. So that one's going to lay like that. That's going to come over and it's going to just turn in just like that. Okay, we're just going to run our iron along it just to get that nice and laying flat. Okay, on there. So you've got that sort of, so you've got a piece like that. So when it comes to putting it onto the trousers, it'll go on like that. There. I don't know why my camera should have turned off. It's never done that before. It's really weird. Sometimes you have those days. Because obviously the battery went on the light and then the camera turned itself off. So obviously I don't know what I'd done, whether I'd pressed the button by mistake or something, or it didn't come on properly. Just not sure. So anyway, here we go. There you go. Okay. Right. Okay. Make sure that's laying down all over. Just notice that bit's come back up. Okay. All right. There we go. Make sure you turn your iron off as well. We don't want anyone to get burnt. And what we're going to do, I need to get the piece of which is the nearest match to that. This is the same part of these jeans, but it doesn't look like exactly the same colour. On the waistband must have been slightly different. So I'm going to place this on my waistband, and what I want to do is leave about 1/4 of an inch overhang in the end. Okay, I'm going to come along and I'm going to pin about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch overhang in the end, because we can cut off anything we don't. I'm going to come along with my pins and I'm going to pin all the way around. I don't know if you remember when we were doing it, but in the beginning we just turned that over just the once like that, and we just pressed that, We don't need to put any stitches or anything in it. We just press that down flat, so that's laying flat. So this is where we're going to make an end which will go over the end of this piece. So you just want to have it, when you go to pin this piece to it, you want to have it so you've got it just turned over one time for 1/4 of an inch like that. And you want to do exactly the same here on that 1/4 of an inch, just like that there. Okay, so it's like that. I did it wrong the first time. I did this pair, and then I went on and did the other pair. So that's what you want to have it like that, just that 1/4 of an inch. So here we are. We've just got the pins pinned all the way around, as you can see. And I'm going to put the piece under the foot. Put that too far back, sorry. I've just got my little piece here, which is the piece we just needed to turn over, and we want to just turn that piece over on the fly 1/4 of an inch. So that's the very front of your fabric there. You just want to turn it 1/4 of an inch like that. Okay, and then you want to pin that on, and that's where you're going to start sewing from, right there on that piece. Okay, I'm just going to pop that on there, put that in place, and then I'm going to do a forward stitch and then a back stitch. So a small forward stitch and then a back stitch. And I'm going to just put my needle in the down position, because I do like to work with it like that way. It just stops it from slipping out. Just going to go all the way around, making sure I keep that on that 1/4 of an inch. There we go. Try not to stretch it too much. You can have it, don't try not to pull at it too much, because that will stretch. Especially if you've got like a bit of a stretchy material on your jeans. I'm just going around like that. And this is the front piece here. And that was the piece where it just needed to be folded over that 1/4 of an inch. Alright, so I'm going to take that off now a minute. There we go. Oops. My little thing's gone funny up there again. Take that off, and I'll just break that other thread off over the way. Right, and then we're going to missed a pin. We come back over and we're going to tuck that seam inside so it's facing upwards. Alright, what we're going to do here is we're going to take this piece here, we're going to come around and we're going to stitch that like that, so it goes on there exactly like that on the edge. And we're going to come down and we're going to run it down so it fits just onto there. So I need to pull that piece over there. That's it. So I'm bringing it down and it's going to fit like that there onto there. So I need to keep that reasonably straight. Okay, and I'm just going to come down in a straight line and stitch straight down. Sorry, I didn't get on the top. And then we come right down, and this is where it needs to go there. I'm just going to do a little back stitch there and finish it off. That's it. Okay. And when you lift that up, what you should have, you should be able to fold this back now, and I'm going to trim this off here. I don't want all that fabric. Get too much fabric there. Okay, I'm going to turn that inside out like that, and we're going to take the end of something which is blunt. You don't really want to use your sharp scissors, and push that corner there out like that. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so you've got a nice corner on there, sitting on there. Don't know why that's such a different colour. That was the jeans we used, but not too worried. And then we're going to go around and do exactly the same on your other side, on this side here. I'm going to bring it around just like that. It's really weird, and that's a really dark blue and compared to the other side as well. Very strange indeed. Right, so I'm going to place it underneath the needle. We're lining it up so it's lined up with that line which is going just there. Okay, let's put that there. So I got that, and that's still attached. We're just going to attach that again. Okay, so we're just going to go and do it the same as we did on that side there. Come into there, and we're going to go straight down onto that. Do a little back stitch. Okay, and then right down again. You want it to make sure you go straight over where that bit is there. Okay. There we go. Right. There we go. Just lift that off, cut that off. And we'll cut that off there as well, about 1/4 of an inch. Turn it inside out. There. There. Get that as much as that up there. And then take your little blunt point and push that right up out of there. Okay. Get as much of that corner as you can. There you go. Okay, and then we're going to bring that down, and then as I said, we want all of this here to be sat up, facing upwards. I'm going to pull that in around like that, and then we're going to pull all of this as well up underneath. And what you're going to do is you're going to go all the way around, and what you want to do is to place that all the way around, but you want it to go just under that brown stitch there, or browny orange stitch which I've put in. So you're going to wiggle that until you've got it just under that stitch, okay, and that will sit nicely on there like that. And then we're going to pin that into place. Right, you might have to fiddle with this bit to get that into the right position, but just go ahead and do that and pull that down to where it needs to be to get that little first bit tucked in really nicely in there. Okay, got that all tucked in so it's all going underneath, and then bring that under. Okay, there you go. Alright, so it's sitting like that. It's just a wiggling it around and getting it right. I seem to have a bit of an edge there, so I don't know why that's like that. So I've got that in now. Put my pin in there. Okay, oh, there, get rid of that. That's it. So that's in right, and then I'll put a pin in that, and then I'll go around and I'll put a pin all the way around there. That's it. Okay, right, how am I going to do this? So it's got to go on that way around, and we're going to stitch in the ditch here. Alright, so it shouldn't come anywhere near anywhere where those pins are. We're just going to come here, and we're going to run along this ditch, and that should catch all those threads around the back. Okay, so I'm going to do that there. So I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to do a back stitch. Then we're going to go all the way around to the front. Okay, let's take our time. There we go. Right, I've got a bit of, oh yeah, I see what's happened here. Let's just come down. I could see that there was something not right because it's not coming up. Just lift that a minute. And just tuck that back under. I could feel underneath that that wasn't laying quite right there. And you might be able to do that with the, as you get more used to it, you'll feel a difference in the fabric which is going through. That's better. It's sort of come, can you see it's sort of come out there on the other side, even though it had a pin in it. Sometimes it wiggles around and doesn't do what you want it to do. If you are using pins around the back there, Just watch out that they don't get caught underneath in the piece there. I'm just going to whip that one out. Pin's all in the wrong way again. I'm really having a bad day. Must be one of those bad days for me. I won't buy a lottery ticket today just in case. There we go. Right. Some days it's like that, isn't it? Everything you touch seems to go wrong. But we're getting there. Slowly. That's come out as well. Don't know why that should have happened, but there we go. Let's lift that back out again. Right, everything else is okay, and then that's just come away just there. So I'll just tuck that back underneath again. That's it. Go back to where I was on that piece. Now if you do that, you can always pull your thread from above so that you don't get a loop of thread coming up there if you need to go and pull your stitch out. There we go. I'm just going to whip that last pin out and hold on to it with my fingers. My waistband put on. There you go. Right, so that's all just laying really neatly on there. Just tidy that up. Oh, there's 2 stitches there, and I'll tidy up those stitches there on that one. Okay, and then we're going to put our last little bit in, which will be, we will sew down here, and then we will sew back up along there like that, and that will be our fly. Okay, so I'm just going to come from here, take that, slide that underneath. I'm going to pop it under because I want to make sure it definitely gets on that edge. If it down would help. And then I'm going to go all the way back, and that'll allow me to go a bit further back. There you go, and then I can come all the way down again. Trying to start off sometimes up there is a bit difficult. I'm going to bring that together. I'm going to come around. Okay, and then I'm going to go up this side here like that. So just leave a little gap in between, it won't matter, because we're going to come back and put that together how it needs to go in a second. Go up. And all the way back down again. Alright, okay. Let's lift that up. I needed to go all the way back down again, but there we are. Right, on that side. Take off that thread there. Right, and you can go around and clean up any thread you have now. Right, and then what we need to do now is, if it's a girl, I think, if it's a boy, straight jeans, you go that way. Okay, and if it's a girl's, you go with it on the top, so you need to work out which one you're doing, a boy or a girl, if it's for a boy or a doll. A girl, a boy or a girl doll. Work out which one you're doing, and then you can put it like that. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to come around, and we're just going to put a small stitch. I'm going to take that one, and we're just going to stitch it like that across the top of it, like that there, just on that tiny bit there. Right, get this in to do that. Is that right? Hang on. No, first of all, I think I need to just redo that piece again. Let's come up and do that. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll come up here through the back where we were here, and we've already got that seam already, and I want to just come and bring it just a tiny bit higher up so it's actually touching where those 2 pieces meet. Okay, can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. So just going to come there. Okay, caught up again, and then I'm going to do a tiny back stitch. I can see what's happened. It's got a bit of thread caught around with it. I'm a nightmare for not putting my threads up the way. There we go. And come here to there. And do a little back stitch. Right, and then lift that off. There. So you should have it stitched like that now. I think I might have stitched it too far up. You should have it stitched like that, and then you want that one to come over the top, and I did stitch it too far, so I'm just going to grab the quick on pick and unpick that a second. Where is it? Right, okay. Right, I've done that. Stitched, all that's stitched up there now. Put it with my knife because I couldn't find the quick on pick because it's gone under the table. Don't do what I do. Right. Okay, so I've done that. Just trying to work out what I'm going to do now. That's it. Right, okay, so that's done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over this bit where it's no stitches or anything like that, and that piece there needs to stitch onto the inside of that piece there, just like that. Okay, right, so I'm just going to come across and see if I can get that to work. Find this is the most fiddliest bit of all. So you've got that piece going down, or the other piece if it's for a boy on the other side, and that piece is coming up. So I'm going to pull that down, pull that up, and that piece is going across there, just like that. Get that out of the way. Right, that's it, that's coming across, and then we'll put another stitch on the other piece in a second. There we go, that should lay like that. Okay, and a back stitch right across the whole thing, and then forward again. Right, lift that up, and when that comes up, that should sit perfectly over the top of that piece there, like that. Just pull that out, that should sit beautifully. And then you just want to come across now, here, and where that piece, that loose piece is there, you want to take that underneath, and you want to run the machine just lightly across that edge, just like that there, okay? Hopefully you can see it. Can you see that? So that's where you are, and that's the piece we've just stitched to the bottom. We're just going to come here and we're going to run it right across that very edge bit down there at the bottom. Okay. And that should join those two pieces together. And you don't really want to catch any of the trousers, you just want to catch those two side seams. Do a couple of back stitches on it. So I did 2 forward and 2 back. And that should be enough to hold it in place. And I'll get rid of all this mess and then I'll come back. So that's all done and that's laying lovely. And you see there, that's laying really nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my piece of Velcro and I'm going to lay that, and I want it to lay so that it's inside the line of the trousers where the trousers are going to do up. Okay, but what you can do is you can have it hanging over a bit and then you can cut that piece off. So I'm just going to come along, put my threads to the back. I'm going to put the first piece on and then I will come back and do the second piece. So I'm just going to line that up where I sort of wanted it. I'm going to come along. I always have a real problem with Velcro, with I have a Velcro with pinning it and getting it in place because it just moves whenever I pin it. So you might just want, you could pin it if you wanted to. I always just do it freehand because I always struggle with it. So I'm just going to stitch this on. And then I like to turn it all the way around. It's just a quarter of the way around. Do a line across the top. I like to do a back stitch along that line across the top because I find that when the children are pulling at it, this is the place it starts coming away. And then bring it back down again. I find it, and it's so annoying when you've got an outfit and then the Velcro has come off. And you know, they can't wear the outfit because you've lost your Velcros on it. There you go. Okay, so I've stitched that one on, and I'm going to take my older scissors for this and trim that piece of Velcros down. with my older pair of scissors there. Alright, okay, so that's that. No, I cut that threads a bit short, I think, so just give that a little pull so that doesn't go back up inside the needle when I do the next piece. So that piece is laying nicely there. And I'm just going to put the other piece on this side. Right, okay. So I'm just going to come in and go straight up. Turn. Again, I'm going to do double on this one. That's it, on the back. Now, because this is going to be where my fly is, I don't really want to stitch it down this part of the Velcro here. I just want it to come where the fly is. So I'm just going to turn it. I'm just going to bring it. I'll just move it over a little tiny bit. Just going to bring it so it makes like a fly shape, because this will be the outside of, you'll be able to see this stitching on the outside of my trousers. So I'm just going to come, sorry that made me jump, down like that. I'm going to bring it down so it looks as if there's the fly piece which is cut in the trousers. Turn it around, do a little piece over. Okay, and then I'm going to come up here. I'm going to catch up to that line which is there. And that's where I'm going to put my double stitching in on that piece. Okay, so that should give you the look of a fly on there. So can you see that's giving you that sort of like fly, appearance of a fly there. Not wonderful one, but there you go. Right, so then that should do up nicely there and just sit together nicely. So there you go. Okay, I hope you enjoy that. Watch the rest of it and I'll show you how to put a button on in that with the other pair. Hope you enjoy it. Goodbye. So I did that straight bit across the bottom of there, and I'm just going to show you how I do the button, because somebody has been asking if I can do it just to show how it would actually work on the sewing machine. Okay, so I'm just going to try and do it so that you can see the whole thing. So I've got the button in, and have a look at the foot there, and as you can see, as I move the needle along, it's going into one side of the button. So I'm going to move this one here, look, until I get it into the right place to go in that button. Now you have to then, can you see that? Then you have to wiggle it to make sure that it's going in that side, which it's done now. Okay, and then you're just moving your handle on the handle here, all right, and then you're pushing it in and seeing if it'll go into that button there. And then if it does go in both buttons and you've got it in both ways like that, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Okay, that is when you can start sewing, but it's not quite there, so I'm just going to move that a tiny bit that way, so it's just making my stitch smaller. I'm just going to come back and just adjust it just here, because it might have just moved a tiny bit there. That's it, so it's going in that one, and then it's coming up and it's going in that side there, and I'm turning my handle all the time here, right? Okay, and then so I sort of know that's right, so I'm going to just put my foot now onto that pedal very, very slow. I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll bring the pedal up so you should be able to see it. Hopefully I can do this with my hand so you can see the pedal and the machine. Okay, so I'm just going to press down very slowly, and can you see it's going in and out? Right, you need your hand on it, so it's quite hard. I'll see if I can do it. You need to have your hand on it to stop that button from moving, okay, as you don't want that button to move forward is what's happening. So obviously when you had it on the floor, you'd have your foot there and you'd be able to push it through with that without that going in, and it would just stay in in that position. All right, so that's how you do it with your hand. You move that one up and down to get it into the right position, and then you use your foot, just a very gentle push to do it. So if I come back here now and I hold on to it to stop that from moving, should be able to, I don't know if you can see the foot, can you see the foot here? I should be able to, I don't know if I can hold on to that and hold on to that. Let's see if I can. Oh, no, that's what you would do. I couldn't do it with holding on to it like that, but that's what you would do, and you'd stop that from moving by doing that and just holding on to it whilst the button went to and fro. And that's just how you sew a button on, okay? So I've lined my button up and I'm holding on to it nice and still because the other one did break. I don't know if you realised that. Dropping my foot down. And can you see that? I'm just holding this so that doesn't move at all. And I'm just putting the stitches into my button. And that's as easy as that. And then you have a button all nicely sewed on, okay? Just take off your threads. So when you go to put these on, so we're finished now. When you go to put these on, you might find that they're a bit snug. And the reason behind that was I wanted them to actually be like proper fitted jeans. You can make them slightly larger if you want to. I was quite happy as they were like this. They go on easily. They just go on. You just need to sort of wiggle them on to get them on him. That's that one on. I just wanted it to be fitted jeans rather than really baggy. So you just need to give them a little push to get them over his feet. But they go on quite easily. It's not a chore or anything getting them on. Okay, and then undo it so you can get it up around his bottom. And they're quite a nice little fit to them. There you go, okay. That's it, and he's on. So that wasn't too much of a struggle, was it? There we go. And then just pull that over and do that up. Okay, let's do a couple of ends. And we'll just come along and take that end off there. Oops. I'm just going to pull that on so it goes on properly. That's better. That's better there. Alright. And there you have them. Let me fly out in his jeans. So here are my jeans. They look really cool, don't they? Fit really nicely. Hope you like them. I'll just show you the back. And you see, got a nice bottom to them as well. Really comfy. I hope you like them. Goodbye.